In today's episode, we're going to find out which one is the best transfer tape to use. Would it be the AT60 or AT75? Make sure you watch the video until the end, and we're going to make these yard signs. So let's go ahead and find out. Before we get to work on the yard signs, this is the design, and let me explain to you a little bit. But actually, before we get into the fonts and stuff, if you're looking for fonts, this is where you can get some free fonts. They got this one here, the font.com, and you can also go to Font Squirrel. You can download free fonts from there, and just look around and see what they have, and they give you samples here, and just choose whatever you like, and make sure that they're free though. Okay, now let's go back to our yard signs, the design actually. And a lot of people ask about how big the letters gotta be, and I mean, there's not really any standard size for the lettering. Just keep in mind that the bigger the better, because when you get to weed out, if they're really small, you're gonna have a hard time. And the first thing that you gotta do, make sure that you make a rectangle. Like in this case, our yard sign is gonna be 24 by 18. And the only thing that I did, I went to this rectangle tool and made a rectangle with the measurements of the yard signs, which is 24 by 18. So we get to work with the actual sizes. And the font that I use for this design is Arial bold. Make sure that you use something that people can read, and it looks pretty close here to the design. Okay, and the reason I have so many rectangles here is that I'm gonna combine all the different layers of vinyl, and you will see that in just a minute. But I also want to point out two things here. If you are working with something like this type of font, I recommend that you just keep in mind that when you get to weed out, it's going to be really hard to do it because it's really thin, especially for beginners that have no clue. If you are working with vinyl like the way we do, just pay attention to that. Make sure that the font is not too thin. And here's another sample of a font that I want to talk about, and you cannot see the difference. It looks like it's just one piece. Let me just go back and show you wireframe. You can see little lines here, and the vinyl cutter is gonna cut around this area here and inside the K and here. Make sure that you weld the letters, and this is the way you do it. I'm going to go back to regular view, and let's select on it. And some fonts you have to double click on weld. Let's see what happens when you do weld once. You can see here like the spaces in between, and this is how it looks with wireframe. Nothing really changed, but you have to do another step. Just repeat the same welds and they're gone. And now the vinyl cutter is only going to cut around here where it's supposed to, and not where the little lines were in here. Make sure you just pay attention to that. Okay, and this is the way we are going to combine our different colors, and we use registration marks, and it's pretty easy to make registration marks. A lot of people ask about that, and all you got to do is go here to rectangle tool and just do a little square like that. And obviously you got to do one for each color, and again, that's why we got the little registration marks to align our vinyls. Now, if you guys want to get your materials, there is going to be a link where you will get a discount if this is the first time you get something through this company. It's called uscutter.com, but just make sure that you follow the link if this is the first time you are getting something from here to get that $20 off. We have the two different kinds of tapes. We got the Clear Choice AT60. This is the one we use mainly for glass, or whenever we are installing vinyl, the Oracle 651 on wall. It's usually recommended that you use Oracle 631 instead of 651, but the last project we use 651 since the customer wanted something more permanent. And this one is the Art Tape Clear Choice AT75. This is our favorite tape. It's a lot easier to work with. Okay guys, before you send the design to the vinyl cutter, make sure that you do this step. If you don't want to waste any vinyl, make sure that you pull some of the vinyl to the front and try to align it with these little lines right here. And when you think it's good, I think we got it, just lock it. And then front edge, setting 1. Okay, we are gonna apply the transfer, the AT60, and as you can see, it's a lot harder to apply, and it wrinkles a lot. Especially, let's say you have an installation tomorrow and you prepare the vinyl, you apply the transfer on top, the next day will be really wrinkled. And it's also harder to remove the vinyl from the carrying paper. That's the reason we do not use it too much. You're about to see the difference. As you guys can see, we have to press down on the vinyl because it won't come off. It wants to stay on the carrying paper. And imagine if you are working outside, if you are working on an installation and you are going through this, and especially if you are under the sun, if it's really hot outside, you don't want to be going through this. And this is just a small piece of sticker. Imagine if you have to put lettering on a huge car. As you guys can see here, it's a lot easier to lift the vinyl, and it only took us a try. Okay, we have our stickers ready, and let me just show you real fast. The one on the left is the Clear Choice AT60, the low tag one, and as you can see, like the edges are lifting, and I mean, this shouldn't really affect the outcome. And just think about it, if you are selling stickers out of state, just keep it in mind that you might want to use the AT75, and since the customer will get it in a better shape than if you use the AT60. He's gonna get it like that, all wrinkled. Okay guys, we got our yard sign and it's 24 by 18. That's why you need to keep those measurements in the software. When you are working on CorelDRAW, make sure that you enter those numbers. We're gonna use the registration marks, and we're gonna apply different colors, and it's supposed to look like that. But let's go ahead and get started with the first part. We're gonna use a piece of tape here to hold the sticker in place. We took the measurements and everything. This one is the AT75 transfer tape, and pretty easy to use. Didn't have to struggle with the lettering. Okay, now we can remove the transfer tape, and the only downside about the transfer tape, you could say, is that the adhesive is really strong, and when it comes to removing the tape, the transfer tape, you have to do it slowly and at a certain angle, and if you do it way too fast, the letters will come off. Just like that. Now we are going to expose the registration marks, and the only way you do it is just cut the paper that's underneath the registration mark. All right, I'm going to start with this side here, the right side first. Perfect. Then we can do the other one, and pretty much repeat the same steps. Just use the piece of paper tape to hold the sticker so you can transfer it, and then we'll remove the transfer tape. All right, guys, we got to the end of the video, and hopefully this video will help you get the right transfer for your business. And yeah, thank you for your support. And
So this is no bueno.
no bueno, yeah, especially for big designs, for big stickers. Yeah, make sure you stick with the AT75. And no, we're not getting paid to advertise it. In fact, it's the same brand as the other one. But yeah, so AT75 won the contest. Thank you so much. See you guys until the next video.